Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up over the next 1 hour. It's a landmark day in India's self-reliance journey. Its Defence Ministry inks a $7 billion deal with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited for 97 Tajas Mk1A fighter jets. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails 11 years of Make in India initiative, says it has bolstered the nation's economic strength. Palestine Authority President Mahmoud Abbas addresses the UNGA through a video link, denounces anti-Semitism and Hamas, urges all nations to recognize Palestinian statehood. And former French President Nicolas Sarkozy is sentenced to 5 years in jail in the Libya funding scandal. First up, let's tell you about a defense deal which kills two birds with a single stone: indigenization and boosting the Indian Air Force's firepower. It's a deal worth around $7 billion and would fetch the Air Force 97 single-engine multi-role Tejas Mark 1A fighter jets, with deliveries to begin from 2027. Here are the details.
In a landmark move to boost India's self-reliance in air warfare capability, India's Defence Ministry signed a contract with public sector defence major Hindustan Aeronautics Limited or HAL on Thursday, worth around $7 billion for domestic production of 97 light combat aircraft Mk1A, also known as Tejas. The deal entails manufacturing of 68 fighters and 29 twin-seaters, the deliveries of which will begin in 2027-28 and completed over 6 years. Dubbing the move as a major boost for the government's Atmanirbhar Bharat or Self-Reliant India initiative, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh hailed the development on social media. He posted on X saying, "The supply of these aircraft by HAL would enhance operational capability of the Indian Air Force to continue their unhindered operations and strengthen defense preparedness of the country. This contract reflects the trust and confidence of the government and the armed forces in the indigenously developed aircraft Tejas, which will be the mainstay of the IAF in the years to come. India's homegrown light combat aircraft was conceived in the 80s for replacing the aging Soviet-era MiG-21 and Su-7 fleets. The program got a boost during the 90s and its Technology Demonstrator 1 version took to the skies in 2001. The second series production, or SP2, was given initial operational clearance in 2016, and the Indian Air Force currently has 2 squadrons of the Tejas Mk1 version. The latest contract is for 97 Mk1A version, which is more advanced. There will be 67 additional items incorporated over and above the 2021 Mk1A contract. It will be integrated with advanced indigenously developed systems. Mk1A will have the Uttam Active Electronically Scanned Array radar, Swayam Raksha Kavach and Control Surface actuators. Mk1A will have over 64% indigenous content. 97 aircraft contract comprises 68 fighters and 29 twin-seaters along with associated equipment. Delivery of the aircraft will start during 2027-28 and will be completed within 6 years. The project is being supported by a robust vendor base of nearly 105 Indian companies. The production is expected to generate around 11,750 direct and indirect jobs each year for 6 years. The latest Tejas contract has been inked at a time when Friday will see the IAF retiring its last 2 squadrons of the MiG-21 fighters in an elaborate ceremony in Chandigarh. This will bring India's effective squadron strength down to 29. Earlier in April this year, a multi-billion-dollar deal to buy 26 Dassault Rafale M fighter jets for the Indian Navy was also signed by India to add to 36 Rafales, which have already been inducted into the Air Force. India's defense requirements, particularly in the aerial domain, have assumed an added sense of urgency since the nation's cross border strikes against Pakistan's terror infrastructure during Operation Sindoor in May this year, following the Pahalgam terror attack. Gautam Roy's report for DD India.
Now, India's drive towards self-reliance has had many components, and let's tell you about one of them. Well, in 2014, a bold vision was set into motion, Make in India, a slogan that evolved into one of the most transformative economic movements in the country's history. 11 years later, it has become a blueprint for industrial resurgence, national pride and global ambition. A movement that's not just building factories, but building futures.
The Make in India initiative, launched in 2014, has been a cornerstone of India's push towards Atmanirbharta, or self-reliance. What started as a slogan became a full-spectrum strategy that's reshaped India's industrial landscape. While industry played its part, the government's massive capex has given industry the confidence to also invest big in India.
The bullet train is coming up between Mumbai and Ahmedabad, the precursor to many more bullet trains and high-speed rails coming up in the country. DFC is operational, both the northern one and the western one, precursor to hopefully more DFCs coming up in other regions. It's a race to make India a $32 trillion economy.
India attracted $667.4 billion in FDI from 2014 to 2024, a 119% increase over the previous decade. Manufacturing FDI alone surged 69%, reaching $165.1 billion, energizing sectors like electronics, automotive, and textiles.
आज आपने कई बार टेलीकॉम टावर के ऊपर बड़े बड़े रेडियो, व्हाइट कलर के जो बड़े से रेडियो नहीं होते लंबे से इस तरह से, बहुत ही कॉम्प्लेक्स मशीन है. 40 कंट्रीज को एक्सपोर्ट हो रहा है. यूरोप जैसे, अमेरिका जैसे समृद्ध देशों को भारत में बने हुए टेलीकॉम इक्विपमेंट आज एक्सपोर्ट हो रहे हैं.
Make in India isn't just about factories. It's about empowering youth, reviving neglected regions, and reclaiming India's industrial legacy. From chips to ships, the Prime Minister's vision is laying the groundwork for a future where India plays a leading role in global supply chains. It is Make in India, make for the world.
Countries like Australia and India that have complementary interests, because Australia is not going to be a massive producer of batteries. However, we have aspirations to be a massive producer of lithium carbonate and lithium hydroxide, which can come to India, and if India develops its cathode active material processing, then India can value add, and we can sort of meet in the middle on that supply chain and go very quickly to global scale.
Launched in 2020, PLI schemes spurred 1.3 lakh crore rupees in investment, 10.9 lakh crore rupees in output, and over 8.5 lakh jobs. Semicon India is building a full-stack chip ecosystem. PM Modi's Swadeshi push and GST reforms boosted demand for Indian goods, tying self-reliance to national pride. Make in India didn't just make goods, it made good India's potential. Bureau Report, DD India.
So let's talk about this drive for self-reliance that India is on, and Make in India is just one part of this entire endeavor. We have Dr. D.K. Sunil. He's Chairman and Managing Director of the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, which is HAL for short. Thank you for coming to our studio. Dr. Sunil, and congratulations on the deal that you've had with the MOD today. Just tell us, in terms of this journey towards indigenization, how significant is what has happened today? Because it's taken quite a few years to come to this stage.
I think this is really a red letter day in the annals of the history of India, where a follow-on order of such magnitude is being given to HAL. We had the 83 order, and now this 97 make it 180.
83 was in 21.
In 21, and this is 97 follow-on order of 180. This is Atmanirbharta in action, where the country is putting its faith in homegrown aircraft and fighters of this class. And the Atmanirbharta push of the Honorable PM, this is funding going into the country's ecosystem. HAL is working with a lot of companies in building these aircraft. So it is a very big boost, a very good booster for the industry, that such confidence is being placed in the equipment being designed and manufactured in the country.
And yours is the PSU, but it will be helpful to a lot of other private sector enterprises as well, both big and small. And what are the estimates in terms of jobs? I believe very handsome estimates are there as well in terms of employment generation.
Yes, the estimate is about 11,000 jobs over 6 years every year. But there is also the spin-off effect. You see, as more companies come into this ecosystem and become our partners, you'll see that more and more companies will develop capability, and attendant employment will come in. So the 62,000 odd crore that we've got today definitely flows into this ecosystem, into our tier 1, tier 2 suppliers, and it will generate the technology, it will generate jobs. So it's a very big boost for the whole ecosystem.
And how's the progress in terms of the deliveries of the order that was placed in 2021?
Yeah, we have now built 10 aircraft which are ready. We have tested them with the Cat B engines, and they are all on the flight line. We've received 3 engines from General Electric, and they have promised us that they will give us 12 by the end of this financial year. So we are confident that we'll be able to deliver 12 aircraft by the end of this financial year. The 2 lines in Bangalore, 1 in Nasik, we have already started the production. We also are very happy to report that there is a 4th line effectively in the private sector, where we get the structural parts from our partners in the private sector. So effectively there is a 4th line in the private sector. This gives us that capability to push the production up to 30 in the near future. So this is a very good expansion in capacity, and 30 per annum we will be able to reach in the next 2 years. So this gives us great confidence that we will beat the target set for the deliveries.
Yes, because the Indian Air Force has certain urgent requirements now because of the fact that our requirements, the estimate for that was about 42 squadrons, and we're going to be pretty soon down after tomorrow, I think. Friday is when these MiG-21s, the last ones, are being decommissioned. So do you feel that these, coupled with the Rafales that we're getting, will keep India in a position where it can thwart enemies in terms of all of their capabilities as well? We're talking about a neighbor which seems to be now talking about a 6th generation aircraft as well.
The Tejas is a very capable aircraft. It's a 4.5 generation aircraft with excellent avionics, an excellent radar, and an EW suite. It's got capable weapons. So these 180 aircraft, as they get into the Air Force, are going to be very potent platforms. And the other important point is we have the capability to upgrade this aircraft by adding new weapons, because the whole software and the design is available to us.
Is that what is happening in terms of the 2021 order and this one? These will be more advanced, more than 60 plus components will be improved and advanced ones?
This will have an indigenous radar, it will have an indigenous EW suite, and we are going to put in a lot more indigenous stuff. So 64% is what is the target, but we aim to do about 70%. So the idea is that as we put in more and more avionics or other equipment which are indigenously designed and developed, you become so much more capable, and the control and the design and the software is with you, and the upgrade becomes so much easier for us as we go forward. We can add weapons, we can add features, and it also becomes a very potent platform for export.
Yes, certainly. And apart from this platform, can we look forward to HAL adding more and more in the coming years to India's defense indigenization journey?
Definitely. We spend a lot of money on indigenization. We've already committed about 1,000 crores for indigenous development of equipment. And going forward, we are spending almost roughly 2,800 to 3,000 crores a year on R&D, because we see that the future is based on our R&D and our homegrown products. So we are pumping in money into R&D. We have almost 17,000 crores of R&D projects in the pipeline, which we are funding, both the government and ourselves. So I think indigenization is an existential requirement rather than something fancy. We have to do it so that in future we have this ability to de-risk ourselves and we can be self-reliant.
And warfare itself, we've seen, has evolved quite a lot, changed a lot from mainly aviation platforms to an addition to a large extent of unmanned drones and others which are automated. How's that part of evolution in terms of Indianization progressing in terms of aerial weapons itself?
Yeah, I think the trend is, as you say, towards unmanned. A large component will be unmanned, but there is also going to be something called MUMT, which is manned unmanned teaming. So you will have a manned aircraft controlling maybe a couple of unmanned aircraft or maybe more, which are all networked. I think that's the future we are heading towards. HAL is working on a UCAV, unmanned UCAV called CATS Warrior. We are working on that. We are also working with DRDO on the UAVs like the Tapas. We are their partners. So I think there are multiple areas on which we are working with different companies to see how we progress into this unmanned domain. And definitely this is a big focus area, and a lot of money and investment will go into that in the future.
And in terms of, again, indigenization overall, beyond defense as well, where we also have the Make in India component, which is essentially about foreign companies coming in with their FDI and setting up plants and then making their products here and then making for the world too. Do you feel that this is something that will then remain the mainstay as far as India's economy is concerned in coming years? Because right now the objectives which were there for the Make in India program, they still have some way to go.
Speaking for HAL, I can say today the attractiveness of our products, whether it's the helicopters or the Tejas, the Prachand that we have, the attack helicopter, or the Dhruv. Since we have design control, software control, when we export it or plan exports to other countries, we can offer them customization to their local requirements. So I think that's a very I would say that is the USP that we offer to many countries. So exports is something that will definitely happen in the future, and there's a big future there for us as a country.
Sounds great, and let's hope that things proceed from here very, very smoothly, and we have the benefit of the platforms as far as our defenses are concerned very soon. Thank you so much for joining us and talking about it today, and congratulations once more on that contract. All right, so that was the CMD of HAL speaking to us about this major red letter day as far as India's drive to indigenize its defenses is concerned. We're taking a quick break at this point, and still to come on DD India News Hour. Ukraine strikes key Russian port. Russia hits back hard as the world eyes uncertain peace talks. Prime Minister Modi launches World Food India, spotlights growth, global partnerships and India's food processing revolution. And the World Atomic Week International Forum begins in Moscow.
Many cities in India still carry forward the wonderful legacy of a glorious past. These ancient cities were once center for power, culture and religion. Revisit them in our special series. Forever Cities starts with Patliputra on Friday, 26th September at 8:30 p.m. IST.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, Prime Minister Modi has also launched development projects worth over 122,100 crore INR in Rajasthan's Banswara. From laying the foundation stone for a major nuclear power plant to flagging off Vande Bharat trains and distributing government job letters, the initiatives span spheres of energy, connectivity and employment. Here's more.
In India's northwestern state of Rajasthan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stones of several projects and inaugurated multiple development initiatives worth over 122,100 crore rupees at Baswara. In line with his commitment to transform India's power sector to ensure affordable, reliable and sustainable power supply for all, Prime Minister laid the foundation stone of Ashwini Mahi Baswara Rajasthan Atomic Power Project. It will be one of the largest nuclear plants in the country, supplying reliable power and will strengthen India's position in the environmental stewardship and evolving nuclear energy landscape. In Rajasthan, the foundation stones for clean energy projects and transmission lines have been laid. PM Modi said that from solar to nuclear energy, India is scaling new heights in power generation capacity.
यहाँ राजस्थान में भी क्लीन एनर्जी प्रोजेक्ट और ट्रांसमिशन लाइन की आधारशिला रखी गई है। बांसवाड़ा में राजस्थान एटॉमिक पावर प्रोजेक्ट का शिलान्यास हुआ है। यहां सोलर एनर्जी प्रोजेक्ट का उद्घाटन भी हुआ है। यानी सोलर ऊर्जा से लेकर परमाणु ऊर्जा तक देश अपनी बिजली उत्पादन क्षमता को नई ऊंचाई तक लेकर जा रहा है।
The PM also laid the foundation stones of sewerage and water supply projects. The Prime Minister also interacted with beneficiaries of PM Kusum scheme, a government initiative that aims at providing solar energy and irrigation solutions to farmers. In a major boost to rail and road connectivity, the PM flagged off 3 Vande Bharat trains and dedicated multiple road projects related to national and state highways. PM Modi also distributed over 15,000 appointment letters to newly appointed youth in government departments and organizations in Rajasthan that will boost employment in the state. Bureau Report, DD India.
Now, Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the World Food India 2025 in New Delhi as well. The World Food India, which will run till the 28th of this month, will include CEO roundtables, technical sessions, exhibitions and multiple business interactions. New Zealand and Saudi Arabia are taking part as partner countries, with Japan, UAE, Vietnam and Russia also participating as focus countries.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the 4th edition of the World Food India on Thursday at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. Organized by the Ministry of Food Processing Industries, the 3-day event will witness participation of over 90 countries and 2,000 plus exhibitors, with New Zealand and Saudi Arabia taking part as partner countries and Japan, UAE, Vietnam and Russia participating as focus countries. With India's dynamic food processing landscape, the event will serve as a platform for business opportunities, partnerships and collaborations between India and international stakeholders. India has made giant strides in its food processing sector in the past 11 years, and the government is giving special focus on this sector with its targeted schemes and reforms. India is the largest producer of milk, pulses and onions. India is the second largest producer of rice, wheat, sugarcane, tea, fruits, vegetables and eggs. The sector contributes 7.93% of GVA in manufacturing in 2023-24, accounts for 20.4% of India's agri-exports, $7.3 billion FDI equity inflow in the last 1 decade, 100% FDI permitted in food processing, retail trading, including e-commerce. All these statistics show India's rise in food processing sector.
बीते 10 साल में भारत की प्रोसेसिंग कैपेसिटी में 20 गुना वृद्धि हुई है। हमारे प्रोसेस्ड फूड से जुड़े एक्सपोर्ट भी 2 गुने से ज्यादा हो गए हैं। साथियों, फूड सप्लाई और वैल्यू चेन में हमारे किसानों, पशुपालकों और मछुआरों और छोटी-छोटी प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट्स की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है। बीते एक दशक में इन सभी स्टेक होल्डर्स को हमारी सरकार ने मजबूत किया है।
In Bharat's vision of a developed India by 2047, World Food India stands as a significant contributor. At a time when the world is grappling with various challenges, including food security, India welcomes global collaboration to make in India and make for the world. Siddharth Bharadwaj's report for DD India.
Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy has hit out at his latest conviction, calling it extremely serious for the rule of law. The 69-year-old leader announced he will appeal the ruling. Sarkozy declared he would sleep in prison with my held head high, if needed, as the court has ordered him into custody at a later date, even in the case of appeal. A Paris court on Thursday found Sarkozy guilty of criminal conspiracy with Libya over illegal campaign financing and sentenced him to 5 years in prison.
Naturally, I will appeal. I will probably have to appear handcuffed before the Court of Appeal. Those who hate me so much think they are humiliating me. What they have humiliated today is France. It is the image of France, and if anyone has betrayed the French, it is this incredible injustice you have just witnessed. I have no spirit of revenge. I have no hatred. But let everyone understand and hear it. I will fight until my last breath to prove my complete innocence.
Now, the Russia-Ukraine conflict continues to intensify with heavy strikes from both sides. A deadly drone attack has hit a key Russian port city, while Moscow claims it has destroyed Ukrainian military infrastructure. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts also saw some movement as world leaders weighed in on peace talks. DD India's Rahul Padhyay reports.
A Ukrainian drone strike on the southern Russian port city of Novorossiysk killed 2 people and injured 6. The city, home to vital oil and grain export terminals on the Black Sea, was briefly placed under a state of emergency. Officials later said that there was no threat to residents or visitors as Russian servicemen had already completed their operations. Ukraine has been increasingly targeting energy and port facilities that fuel Russia's economy and generate revenue for its state budget. In retaliation, Russia carried out a major strike on Ukraine's military infrastructure. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, they destroyed a power substation that supplied Ukraine's military industrial complex. They also hit production facilities, storage and launch sites for long range drones, and temporary housing areas for Ukrainian troops. Amidst escalating violence, there are fresh diplomatic moves. The Kremlin said that it believes US President Donald Trump remains committed to working towards peace, despite a recent shift in his rhetoric favoring Kyiv.
Пока мы исходим из того, что Вашингтон сохраняет политическую волю, и президент Трамп сохраняет политическую волю на то, чтобы продолжать прилагать усилия в плане мирного урегулирования на Украине. Мы поддерживаем эти усилия, и Россия продолжает быть открытой для выхода на трек мирных переговоров.
Meanwhile, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, speaking at the United Nations, urged world powers to help stop Russia's war, warning it could trigger a dangerous global arms race. Zelensky also expressed willingness to meet the Russian president anywhere except Moscow. Russia, in response, suggested Istanbul as a possible venue for future talks. As fierce battles rage on the front lines and diplomatic channels remain uncertain, both sides continue to trade heavy blows while the world watches for any sign of peace. Rahul Upadhyay's report for DD India.
The Turkish Defense Ministry said on Thursday that it temporarily deployed a warning and control aircraft to Lithuania as part of NATO security measures. Lithuania, Estonia, Denmark and Poland have all said Russian drones or fighter jets have violated their airspace in recent weeks, prompting the NATO alliance to beef up defenses around Europe's eastern flank. Meanwhile, Western officials said Russia is carrying out airspace violations to test NATO's readiness and resolve. President Vladimir Putin on Thursday inaugurated the International Forum World Atomic Week in Moscow. Among foreign dignitaries attending were IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi, Myanmar's Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, and Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan. The four-day event at the All Russia Exhibition Center runs from the 25th of this month till the 28th, bringing together world leaders and experts to discuss nuclear energy and related fields. And still to come on DD India News Hour. We'll be speaking with our expert guest about the return of a Syrian leader to the United Nations world stage after nearly 60 years and what it means for its people and the region.
India still carry forward the wonderful legacy of a glorious past. These ancient cities were once center for power, culture and religion. Revisit them in our special series. Forever Cities starts with Patliputra on Friday, 26th September at 8:30 p.m. IST.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, the year 2025 at the UN has proved to be a historic one for Syria as a Syrian head of state addressed the UN General Assembly after almost 60 years, 58 to be precise. Now, Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara in his speech said that Syria is returning to the international community after 6 decades. Also, on the third day of the general debate at the United Nations, Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas also addressed the UN through a video link. More in this report.
Conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine have taken center stage at the UN General Assembly as world leaders seek solutions to intertwine global challenges in an effort to promote peace and security. On Thursday, Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas addressed the UN General Assembly by video.
We reject Hamas' action on 7 October, which targeted Israeli civilians and took them hostages, because such actions do not represent the Palestinian people of their just struggle for freedom and independence.
On the other hand, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is scheduled to address the United Nations General Assembly on Friday, stated he would condemn recent recognitions by some nations of a Palestinian
want to give them a state in the heart of land of Israel. This will not happen.
French President Emmanuel Macron, who received the 2025 Atlantic Council Global Citizen Award from BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, used the occasion to warn about growing threats to the UN Charter.
If we believe that we live in a global order, we should never accept a double standard. And what is the credibility of the Europeans or others to say it's very important to respect the territorial integrity of the Ukrainians, it's very important to respect the principles of the UN Charter, but not to have a single word for Middle East, not to have a single word for what's happening in Gaza.
French President Macron also met the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in New York on the sidelines of the UNGA. Meanwhile, for Syria, it was a historic day. For the first time since 1967, a Syrian head of state addressed the UN General Assembly. The Syrian President, Ahmad al-Shahara, in his address, pledged to rebuild a Syria that guarantees the rights of all without exception.
Syrian state formed fact-finding committees, and it also gave the United Nations the permission to investigate, and it reached similar results with unprecedented transparency in Syria. I pledge to bring to all justice all those whose hands were stained with the blood of innocents.
Al-Shahara said commissions had been created for transitional justice and to investigate the fate of missing persons, while work is underway toward electing a legislative council. Al-Shahara also pointed to the full restoration of international relations, new regional and global partnerships. He also reiterated Damascus's commitment to the 1974 Disengagement of Forces Agreement. During his stay in New York, the Syrian president met with other world leaders as well. He met with the US President Donald Trump, the Syrian state news agency SANA reported. Besides, he also met with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in New York. The Syrian President Ahmad al-Shahara also met the French President Emmanuel Macron. The theme of the 80th session is Better Together, 80 Years and More for Peace, Development and Human Rights. The UN General Debate of the 80th session, which opened on the 23rd of September, will conclude on the 29th of September 2025. Fuzail Ahmed reports for DD India.
So the significance of this particular event, let's talk about that. We have Ambassador Anil Kumar Truganath with us, a well-known former senior diplomat, figures very frequently on our discussions. Good evening to you, Ambassador Truganath. What do you make of the moment, not just for Al-Shara, but for the people of Syria and the entire region? In fact, the return of Syria to a global stage. I mean, there's no other bigger global stage than the United Nations, although someone in the White House thinks that it's the White House.
You are so right. But I think that the Syrian president's return to the UNGA after nearly 68 years, I think 67 was the last, 58 years. So that is something is very, very important in the sense that it provides President al-Shara a legitimacy that he has been trying to seek. As you know that his past comes to haunt him very often in various debates, as he belonged to the Al-Qaeda group or others. His HTS was also a proscribed organization. But now, ever since he has come to the forefront and he has been legitimized by Turkey, by the United States, by the Western countries, as well as the Arab countries, he is trying hard to somehow bring about reconciliation in the country. So today, his speech was very clear what he's looking for. He is basically looking for peace and development and trying to have those lot of fractured groups are there in the country, as you know. Secondly, he also has a problem with Israel, which has been bombing Syria ever since there was deposition of Gaddafi, of Assad when he fled to Moscow. So since then, there have been regular attacks and there has been captured territories, and it's in that context that he reiterated the 1974 agreement that the former President Assad had signed with Israel, and which was held out until he was deposed. So I believe that that is important. Secondly, he has also called for a large number of countries to come and help in the reconstruction of Syria. And once again assuring them that there will be a fair justice as the investigations will continue. Is there some kind of a truth and reconciliation commission also? Because if you see the statistics that have come out from the investigations made so far, more than 1 million people died because of atrocities by the previous government. Now, of course, it's not that easy to arrive at it, but most of the Syrians, and I can tell you from my personal meetings and experiences, want to return to their country, want to rebuild their country. It's a civilizational country. And apparently he's looking for a chance. And of course, he has many challenges within the country itself. There are several groups that need to be taken on board. There has to be elections, and there has to be a legitimate, duly elected government that needs to come into power. The women have to get greater representation, because it's a very modern country generally. It is not as the people in his previous, so to say, control area are, which are very radical. He also has a very big problem how to bring about the reconciliation among 30-odd nationalities of fighters who are in his country, and they are very, very conservative. So he has huge challenges, but those challenges can be surmounted if there is a greater international assistance and a lot of countries legitimizing his presence. That is important, because so far overall control of al-Shara is not there over whole of Syria. Now that's what he's trying to gradually, incrementally achieve. So he's trying to convey this message, and it's a very important platform for him. Essentially, the biggest, especially that Syria has been absent from the UNGA, because you know why? After 1967 war, Israel had taken the Golan Heights, and it is in that protest that the Syrian presidents refused to go to the United Nations.
Okay. Now, in case of both al-Shara and Syria, how much, to what extent does their fate really lie in the hand of both Netanyahu and Donald Trump?
Well, Netanyahu, what he has said, and he has again invoked this 1974 agreement. And I doubt very much that the Israelis are keen on following that, because they would rather keep those Golan Heights from where they can have a complete observation over what is happening, and they provide them the heights, they provide them a lot of water resources, the areas that they have already taken. And therefore, they'll have to go back. And I doubt very much that they are going to see the Golan Heights. Besides, President Trump himself had recognized the Golan Heights to be the part of Israel. I mean, that is another problem. So, on the one hand, the Trump administration is very keen to mainstream al-Shara. But on the other hand, they are also continuing to appease the Israeli leadership with regard to their own concerns. And naturally, the fact that Israel is still not reconciled to the fact that al-Shara was a designated terrorist himself. So that's the big problem. But at the moment, it appears that President Trump is very keen that al-Shara settles down, and that country eventually signs up to the Abraham Accords. That is another bigger thing. They want both Lebanon and Syria to be the first one, because Saudi Arabia has now refused until Palestinian issue is resolved. So this could be one of the deals that can be cut eventually.
And what kind of stake does India have in all this, in terms of course, India would like to see Syria to become stable and peaceful, but beyond that?
Well, I think that India has always stood by the Syrian people. And it was not for any regime. We had very good relations. We have been providing all the assistance. Despite all the sanctions against Syria, India continued to provide assistance, and through United Nations and directly to the Syrian people. Even after Mr. al-Shara's return, coming to the power, India has been providing assistance, humanitarian assistance, a lot of it to the Syrians. Even last couple of weeks it has been done, and more is about to follow. So I think that our interest remains there, both in its economic engagement, development, and I'm quite sure in the reconstruction of Syria, Indian companies, if they position themselves correctly, will be able to do better. But I think we always maintained an ambassador, and currently also we have our ambassador as well as embassy operating in the country. We did not come out. There were not many Indians who had to be evacuated, except 14-15, which was not a big number. So plus we have our own economic interests also in the region. So we hope that it gets mainstream fast, and hopefully the Indian diplomacy will be winning the hearts of the Syrians once again.
And can Syria's issues be addressed, sorted out without addressing what's happening in Gaza and the larger Palestinian issue?
Well, I think that can be separately handled. And it looks to me that since Syria has much bigger problems for themselves, and they obviously are no longer, as protege of Iran in the current dispensation, or Hezbollah had no further control in Syria now, they are more interested essentially to continue to maintain their country develops faster, stabilizes faster. That's the priority. But at the same time, a general question always is there that the Palestinian issue must be addressed, and the two-state solution must be found out. But that is not predicating in their having a normal relationship with Israel, provided Israel takes the lead.
All right. Well, let's leave it there at the moment and see how things go. Let's hope that things move in a positive direction from what's been happening in New York. Thanks a lot for joining us for the evening, Ambassador Trigunath.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Let's take a look at some other stories making news around the country as well. Well, Union Minister of Agriculture Shivraj Singh Chauhan has virtually inaugurated the new administrative and academic building of the College of Horticulture Sikkim in New Delhi on Thursday. Addressing the media, the minister said that 52 crore Indian rupees worth project will provide better educational facilities to the youth of Sikkim. Union Minister Sarvanand Sonowal has flagged off India's first fleet of electric heavy trucks with swappable batteries at the Jawaharlal Nehru Port Authority on Thursday. Now, this marks a significant step towards green transport and sustainable port operations. The minister said the government is committed to achieving zero carbon emissions through the National Hydrogen Mission and renewable energy projects. The Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, or FSSAI, officially launched a dedicated licensing and registration window for Ayurveda Ahar products on its food safety compliance system portal. This significant step will enable manufacturers across India to seamlessly apply for licenses to produce and market traditional Ayurvedic foods. Now, in response to changing threats along India's borders after Operation Sindoor, the Border Security Force, or BSF, has established the country's first dedicated drone warfare school at its training academy in Madhya Pradesh's Tikanpur on Thursday. This is a move to build offensive and defensive unmanned aerial capabilities. Now, moving further, Australia's bold step to limit social media access to children under the age of 16 has received praise from the European Union at the Protecting Children in the Digital Age event on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York. EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen said that the world is taking inspiration from Australia. Take a look.
Australia's social media age limit of allowing access to kids only above 16 has won the support of the European Union during an event at the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese promoted his government's world first teen social media ban at Protecting Children in the Digital Age event in New York, warning the challenges posed by social media for children were constantly evolving. Albanese told world leaders that the law passed in November 2024 would give Australian teens 3 more years of being shaped by real-life experience and not by algorithms. Currently, the age for access to social media in Australia is 13 years as per law. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, in her speech during the event, said she had been inspired by Australia's example.
Since the announcement of Australia's landmark minimum age law, I've been watching very closely. And I've been inspired by Australia's example. You're the first to give this a try. And when your loud critics tell you, I guess this won't work, that can't be done, the tech genie cannot be put back in the bottle, etc., you are persistent. We in Europe are watching and will be learning from you as you implement your world-first and world-leading social media ban.
Australia wants social media firms to develop an AI tool based on behavioral data to ascertain the age of users instead of direct question-based verifications. Australia began its journey towards social media legislation in October 2023, banning smartphones in public schools and initiating discussions on restricting social media for teens. By October 2024, the government announced trials for age verification technologies, and on November 29 last year, the Online Safety Amendment Social Media Minimum Age Bill 2024 was passed in the Parliament, imposing a blanket ban on social media use for individuals under 16. The new law places the responsibility on social media companies to enforce the ban, with platforms given a year to comply and fines of up to $32.5 million for non-compliance. Tech companies including WhatsApp and Reddit, as well as streaming giant Twitch and gaming firm Roblox, could be among more than a dozen sites added to Australia's social media ban. Platforms such as Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok and YouTube were already included in the ban in a world first. As the new law goes into force from December, Governments and tech firms are closely watching Australia's effort to become the first country to block the use of social media. Ayushi Bhatnagar's report for DD India.
A group of US lawmakers visiting China met Gong Zhen, the mayor of Shanghai. The four-person delegation held a series of discussions with senior Chinese officials on a range of issues affecting the bilateral relationship, including trade, defense and drug trafficking. They also reflected upon the reality that though the US remains the most powerful country in the world, China is emerging as a potential challenger for global leadership. In Nepal, the Gen Z protests against corruption, which forced the ouster of the KP Sharma Oli government, is now shaking the foundations of the country's major political parties. The Nepali Congress is facing mounting pressure for reform. On Monday, General Secretary Gagan Thapa and senior leader Shekhar Koirala launched a signature campaign demanding a special general convention to restructure the party in line with public aspirations. Across the spectrum, other parties too are scrambling for change. Maoist Centre Chair Pushpa Kamal Dahal this week proposed a 4-point reorganization plan, promising more youth, women, Dalits and marginalized voices in the party's committees. The CPN-UML's Yogesh Bhattarai has also put forward a 10-point reconstruction agenda, echoing demands of the youth-led movement. And the Rashtriya Swatantrata Party, led by Rabi Lamichane, has stressed transformation and restructuring at its Central Committee meeting. Buildings and vehicles remain submerged in mud as floodwaters recede in Taiwan's eastern Hualien County after Super Typhoon Ragasa pounded the island with torrential rain. On the third day of the ongoing rescue efforts, a team retrieved an elderly man who was trapped in a house blocked by mud. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of people in southern China were seen clearing up on Thursday after powerful Typhoon Ragasa crashed through Guangdong province, ripping down trees, destroying fences and blasting signs of buildings. Drone footage showed a handful of Taiwanese rescue personnel searching for the missing amongst a partially submerged house on Thursday as well. Let's now take a look at some other stories making news around the world too. Now, San Diego Comic Convention kicked off in Malaga, Spain on Thursday. Thousands of enthusiasts took part in it to indulge in the latest sci-fi and fantasy. For the first time in SDCC's 54-year history, the event has been licensed to a convention outside the US. In Japan, the Tokyo Game Show has kicked off on Thursday. The 4-day event began at Makuhari Messe in Chiba City, near Tokyo, with a record number of foreign exhibitors taking part. The Tokyo Game Show will be open to the general public only on Saturday and Sunday. Poland's Andrzej Bergiel became the first person to ski down Mount Everest without an oxygen tank on Thursday. He was the first person to ski down the world's second highest mountain, K2. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk also congratulated him on social media platform X. And time now for some sporting updates as well. Well, the opening ceremony of the World Para-Athletics Championships 2025 took place in New Delhi on Thursday. A message from Prime Minister Modi was read out by Sports Secretary Hari Ranjan Rao. The PM extended his best wishes to all participants, highlighting India's pride in hosting this global event for the very first time. Union Sports Minister Mansukh Mandavia declared the World Para-Athletics Championships 2025 open. The Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium will be hosting over 2,200 participants during the championships, which will take place from the 27th of this month, that is today, to the 5th of October, day after rather.
Championship is not merely a competition. It is a celebration of unity, inclusivity and harmony. From 27 September to 5 October 2025, this iconic stadium will be the global stage for para-athletics, where athletes from across the world will compete with courage and conviction.
Now, to boost India's preparedness for the upcoming World Para-Athletics Championships, Sports Minister Mansukh Mandavia inaugurated a modern warm-up and training zone at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. The highlight is the new warm-up Mondo track designed to give athletes world-class conditions ahead of competition. Alongside upgraded facilities including advanced LED floodlights for seamless evening practice sessions have also been installed. An advanced fitness center has also been set up, aimed at providing para-athletes and other sports persons access to top-class training and recovery equipment. The upgrades at JLN Stadium are expected to significantly enhance training conditions for both Indian and international para-athletes. Farooq Higher Secondary School from Kerala scripted history at the Ambedkar Stadium as they clinched the junior boys title of the 64th Subrata Cup International Football Tournament, defeating Amenity Public School in a thrilling final. In a neck-to-neck contest, the Kerala side held their nerves and secured a 2-0 win to complete their dream run and lift the prestigious trophy. Air Chief Marshal AP Singh, PVSM, AVSM, joined by Olympian and Indian shooting star Divyansh Singh Panpar, graced the occasion as guests of honour. The final marked a fitting end to the celebrated school football tournament, showcasing young talent and leaving fans with memories of grit, passion and sportsmanship. The BCCI on Thursday announced a 15-member India squad for the upcoming two-test home series against the West Indies. Shubman Gill will continue as captain after leading India to a 2-2 draw in England. Ravindra Jadeja will be his deputy in the absence of Rishabh Pant, who is recovering from a toe fracture sustained during the England series. Dhruv Jurel and N. Jagadisan are the two keeper batters in the squad. World number 1 bowler Jasprit Bumrah has been included, while Shreyas Iyer, on a 6-month break from red ball cricket, is not part of the squad. So the squad then looks like this: Shubman Gill, who's the captain, Yashasvi Jaiswal, KL Rahul, B. Sai Sudarshan, Devdutt Patikal, Dhruv Jurel, who's the wicket-keeper, Ravindra Jadeja, the vice-captain, Washington Sundar, Jasprit Bumrah, Akshar Patel, Nitish Kumar Reddy, Mohammad Siraj, Prasidh Krishna, Kuldeep Yadav and N. Jagadisan, the second wicket-keeper. And that's all we have for this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code on the screen and download the app right away. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.